My personal favorite raptors of the entire film franchise for Jurassic Park are the Jurassic Park 3 Raptors. They look more like birds, they're lighter on their feet, they're a lot more slim and elegant, and have sexual dimorphism, which is very common in avians. They look more realistic and behave more intelligently. They are the first raptors in the film franchise that we get to see behave cohesively in a wild, uncontrolled environmental setting. Now for the Jurassic World Raptors. The Jurassic World Raptors are seen as much bigger and ostensibly stockier than the Jurassic Park 3 Raptors. As a matter of fact, the Jurassic Park 3 Raptors are the only ones that are distinguished from the rest. The other Raptors from the other films seem to have generally the same body type, with the only difference being their color. But Blue and her siblings seem to be a lot more stocky than the JP3 guys. The JP3 Raptors are very intelligent, but it seems as though the intelligence for the Jurassic World Raptors mostly extends to their ability to follow orders. It's almost as though Blue and her siblings had regular intelligence as far as Velociraptors go, and had only their aggression toned down to make them more docile. Again, this is mostly Blue, since we've seen that in given situations. Had not Blue been around, Delta would have attacked humans. And this is probably also because she's mostly based on the earlier groups of raptors. So, all of that aside, if the Jurassic Park 3 Raptors and Jurassic World Velociraptors were to meet up with one another, what would happen? Let's talk about it in two different situations. One, where they are both in a group of the same number, and two, where they're one-on-one. Let's go for the group setting. Blue and her siblings consist of 4 Velociraptors. So let's say for the Jurassic Park 3 matriarch, she has 2 male Velociraptors and a second female in her group. Jurassic Park 3 Raptors are much more slender and also very territorial. They also have not been raised in captivity, so they're a lot more clever and hardy when it comes to life outside in the wilderness. Blue from Jurassic World did shed a great amount of weight, as we saw in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, from being in the wild, and the mass of her bulk was probably due to her having been fed in captivity. However, she still has more meat than the Jurassic Park 3 Raptors. For the sake of this video, let's assume the Raptors are exactly how we saw them the first time in their respective films. Right off the bat, the Jurassic Park 3 Raptors are very territorial. If it was a case where Blue and her siblings were to happen upon them, these Raptors would attempt to intimidate them, especially since they might have eggs. While Blue tends to lead her battles, the matriarch Raptor in Jurassic Park 3 has her subordinates lead attacks, especially the males. 2 of the JP3 males would charge ahead to protect the lead female, and Blue would charge first towards one of them. Seeing the matriarch raptor lag behind her group, Echo or Delta would go in for the attack. The matriarch would see this coming and kick out with her powerful legs. Seeing his leader in danger, one of the males would circle back around to help the matriarch. Unfortunately, the Jurassic World Raptors are much more stocky and heavier. Even though the Jurassic Park 3 Raptors are better fighters, the Jurassic World Raptors being bigger would do more damage. The Jurassic Park 3 matriarch raptor would call off her followers, and they would flee for somewhere deeper in the forest. Knowing their way around the forest, they would have an upper hand to Blue and her group. Had it been just those 4 raptors, the Jurassic Park 3 ones, they would have been intelligent enough to not fight to the death with these guys. But let's say for argument's sake, the Jurassic Park 3 raptors were to fight to the death against Blue and her siblings. Even with being less experienced than the JP3 Raptors, chances are Blue and her siblings would still win. The Jurassic World Velociraptors are much too bulky and more muscular. They would have a better chance of defeating their opponents if we're talking about their mass alone. Once they got on top of them, they could hold them there with their sheer weight. They could probably take hits better, since, well, they're stockier and there's more of them than their light-footed friends. Now as for a one-on-one battle. If Blue were to go up against a matriarch, the matriarch having more battle experience and being smaller would attack Blue with more ferocity and quickness than Blue could attack her. Now there is something else to consider. The JP3 Raptors, even though they're more slender, their legs may be more powerful than those of the Jurassic World Raptors. Remember, these raptors also hunt and constantly run every day out in the open, so they're what is akin to triathletes. The matriarch and JP Raptors in general, or JP3 Raptors in general, would have much better stamina than Blue and her lot, having lived wild and having gotten constant exercise every day of their lives since they were young. Seeing the matriarch, Blue would cock her head to the side in curiosity. However, the matriarch would hiss, feeling protective. The matriarch would charge at Blue, leaping onto her back and using the claw on one of her feet to tear into Blue's skin. Blue would howl in agony and turn around immediately to slash and bite at the other female. Disarmed, the matriarch raptor would most certainly recoil and attempt to attack again. Both raptors would charge at each other, jumping into the air simultaneously. Being heavier, Blue's momentum would carry her farther and end up knocking the matriarch back. Both raptors would roll around on the ground, but eventually Blue would gain the upper hand over the matriarch. Once over her, Blue would start biting the neck of the matriarch while the matriarch slashes out with her forearms. At this time, Blue would begin to tear into the neck of the matriarch raptor. The matriarch would constantly try to get her legs underneath of Blue. However, Blue's weight would be literally sitting on top of this raptor to prevent her from moving or clawing her from underneath. So the matriarch would try desperately to get her feet underneath Blue so she could slash and push Blue away with her powerful legs, but she'd fail miserably. Blue would continue biting mercilessly, but the pain would be too great and the matriarch starts to make whimpering noises. Also, looking at their teeth, as you can also see in this picture, you can tell the difference between the JP3 raptor's teeth, here's another picture, and Blue's teeth. Not only does Blue and her sisters have the upper hand in their size, but also in their jaw structure and their teeth overall. They have many more teeth that are more hardy and much thicker, which means that they're designed for crushing. One thing is for sure, these teeth would definitely do a lot better damage than these teeth. Back to the fight. Now the matriarch starts to make whimpering noises. Being compassionate, Blue has mercy on her and stops to investigate, twisting and turning her head, looking at the matriarch with intrigue. The matriarch would use this opportunity to claw Blue in the eye. Having one of her eyes cut, Blue would howl and leap off the matriarch, clawing at her wounded eye in pain. The matriarch would take this opportunity to jump on Blue, knocking her over onto her side, and during this time, the matriarch would use her jaws and clamp them around Blue's neck while thrashing her head from side to side. However, by doing this, she wouldn't do nearly as much damage as Blue would do had she been doing the same. Blue, however, in a panic would get up as quick as possible, trying to break herself free by jumping into the air and lashing out. The matriarch raptor's jaws are definitely not as strong as Blue's, and neither are her teeth, and so with all the thrashing, Blue is able to break away quite easily. And even doing that, the matriarch might even lose a tooth. Blue charges at the spot she thinks the matriarch is. Having only one working eye, it's hard to see, and being very intelligent, the matriarch stays on the side of Blue that is blind. She constantly attacks Blue on the side that Blue cannot see. Blue runs away, but the matriarch is faster. She cuts in front of Blue, and Blue ends up tripping over her, tumbling headfirst down a steep drop. Matriarch Velociraptor goes for the neck. Blue is more hardy than she looks and quickly throws herself onto her back. In this position, her legs are at the ready to defend herself. With her claws at the ready, Blue kicks furiously as though pedaling a bicycle, and the matriarch knows to stay away. Blue also bites at the matriarch. The matriarch goes around to Blue's tail and starts ripping into it and pulling it. Right after doing that, the matriarch makes her way back over to Blue's head and tears into Blue's throat. Blue is overwhelmed. The best thing for her to do would be to get up and run. She can't defend herself unless the matriarch is on top of her. So, of course, Blue gets up and tries to run. The matriarch follows, and it's very easy for her to catch up to Blue since the JP3 raptor is much faster. Just like she's hunting prey, the matriarch jumps on top of Blue and sinks her claws into Blue's back. Blue leaps into the air and does a forward tumble which sends both raptors tumbling, but also lands the matriarch flat on her back. Blue uses her momentum to go into her tumble and land on top of the matriarch, where she tears into her while holding her down with her forearms. Blue's jaws are stronger, and she tears flesh from the matriarch's skinny neck. This time, she does not stop until the matriarch is dead. Being under Blue's full weight and under her total aggression and powerful teeth and jaws, the matriarch was no match for Blue. She could totally outrun her in a situation like this, but as for a one-on-one battle, chances are Blue would definitely win, if nothing, for her teeth alone. Now, of course, if we were to have a rematch with Blue against the matriarch, but with Blue after she had been 4 years on Isla Nublar by herself and malnourished, well, Blue probably most likely would have lost that fight with the matriarch. Remember, despite their teeth being flimsy, those Velociraptors from Jurassic Park 3 are way more athletic and lean. However, honestly, from what we've observed, it seems as though they're better equipped for running long distances very quickly and coordinating to take down either small prey by themselves or larger prey together over a long period of time, such as a chase. So that's how we saw the fight going down between the JP3 Raptors and the Jurassic World Raptors. Let us know in the comments how you would imagine it going. Thanks for watching. This has been Altiori. You ask, we answer.